Well, what's up, Catesters? Here we are. This is going to be a Christmas crash fest, I hope. Anyway, Frank, you know these courses. What do you think?
I think it's definitely going to be a crash fest. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question.
Great entertainment, don't you think?
Absolutely. We'll see if people can maintain control. I rode on a Tuesday and told myself, okay, I'm not going to crash. I'm not going to crash. I'm going to, no matter what, I'm not going to crash. And I crashed and crashed and crashed. So that adrenaline definitely kicks in and your heart rate's a little high and everything just goes a little too hot into those corners.
What could possibly go wrong? I thought you rode quite well on Tuesday, actually. I think you're hamming that up a bit. I think you did very well. Everybody crashed, to be fair, though, didn't they?
They did. And, I sort of watched the stream back, and I agree with you. I rode a little better than I remembered, but I think that's because I really did tell myself I wasn't going to crash, and I think I crashed like 12 times.
Oh, that many? I didn't realise it was that many.
Well, and it was on Aurora, I was like, okay, all you have to do to win this one is not crash. And I think the second corner I crashed, and from then on I was pushing too hard and crash.
Okay, well, with that intro on Aurora, which is a fantastic course, let's quickly run through these. First race is on the Lake Bend course. Now, I love this one. Couple of laps here, and they've got power-ups where your weight drops for 20 seconds. You've got 2 of those for each rider. That should be fairly straightforward. And then we moved on to the Aurora one, which is absolutely fantastic. It's just bend after bend, crash after crash. You'll be laughing, enjoying every moment of that. And then they have to go on to the king of them all, really, or the queen stage, if you like, Cade Peak, which has got obstacles all the way around it to cause crashes. This is going to be pure entertainment. How did you find Cade Peak, Frank?
I really thought the combination of this playlist is pretty good. You start with one where really it's about power. There's a couple of places that can catch you out with the crash, but as long as you're paying attention, you should be able to manage those. One's right sort of before the finish line, so you got to be careful there. But and then you've got Aurora, which is really all about skill, not really about power. And then the Queen stage is really about both, and there's a lot of places to catch you out. And all you have to do is sort of stay up here as well, and you've got a good chance at the win.
I totally agree with that. So what have we got? Race 1, you've got 2 power-ups, weight lifted. That means basically the weight's decreased for 20 seconds at a time. You can choose when to use these. In race 3, we've got the Lazy Boy. Basically, this puts your power at 421 watts, regardless of how hard you work, so you can ease off a bit and go fast. 3 of those. Absolutely nothing in Aurora, but I don't think you need anything in Aurora. And they're on the start line. We have 1 second to go, and they are off. So, silhouetted at the moment. They'll all solidify in a moment. The silhouettes mean you can ride through them, but once they're off the start line, everything solidifies. There you go. And who have we got in the lead at the moment? It's, Zerhan. He was there on Tuesday as well, I think, wasn't he, Frank?
He was. We've got Esma and Erhan, and I think they will be working together today. Esma's one to watch out for. She is an up-and-coming cyclist, and so we expect a lot from her. So I think they've struggled a little bit with the skill sets, but they are picking that up more and more all the time. I noticed Erhan was out front on the Queen stage on Tuesday, and it looks like he's going to go and deliver some power right now as well.
He's certainly off the front, isn't he? And we've got some faces from Tuesday in there. I see Tim Fulford, Jeff Rooney, Lucha is in there, Vibeke as well from Denmark. So a great lineup and a great turnout tonight.
Absolutely. I would say Carl's been doing very well, definitely sort of the winner of Tuesday overall. He had 2 seconds and a first place, so by points he would have won the day. Tim had a very strong first stage.
He certainly did. I see Lucha's just clapping along there. Is that your music?
Yes, and Lucha's been coming up on the skill sets as well. And so we look all of these people are developing their skills, and we look to have a pretty close race today, I would say.
Let's hope so. Actually, I can just see my good friend David Tobin has gone into second place there, actually. And David Tobin was the guy who first talked me into getting a smart trainer some years back. So I owe all this to him. Everything I've achieved is down to this man. He's a retired school teacher, as it happens, and he's well known locally. Does a lot of long distance riding, which is where I got to know him. So I don't think David will expect to win today, but I know he'll give it his best shot, and he does. He's really enjoying CADE. He is really reveling in it at the moment.
Well, that's fantastic, and he should get along with Erhan also in the scholastic area as well, teacher as well.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe we're getting a strong following amongst teachers. I wonder what that means.
Oh, they're obviously all on the Christmas. Oh, I see that's Lucha using a power up there, isn't he? And he's gained a couple of meters. I think, is this because we're on a gradient, perhaps? You think, and a few others are doing that now. They're all responding, aren't they? I noticed this on Tuesday that once one did the power up, everybody else did, and I don't know if that's kind of everybody following everybody else, or just because they're getting onto the gradient and they need that extra bit of propulsion. What do you think, Frank?
Well, I think, one of the things about CADEsport is if you get a gap, you can maintain the gap much easier than in other platforms because you don't really have the blob effect in the back. The people at the front of the back have to work as hard. So I think you see a lot more people concerned about the gaps, and so they just want to keep them closed.
So it's a reaction rather than anything else.
Yes, and if you see someone like Tim go to the front, if you see someone like Tim go to the front, you have to be worried about that because he can certainly maintain the power, and we're definitely strung out here.
Yes, it's in a bit of a line here, isn't it? As we look at the profile on the top left-hand corner, you see the front riders now have reached the top of the climb, so they might be able to group together. But I find it quite interesting. I mean, you can actually make gaps on the descents as well, can't you? Erhan's falling behind a little bit here, isn't he? There's a little bit of a gap between him and David Tobin, and he probably needs to do something about that.
Yeah, he was a little nonchalant there for a bit, and now he's got to put the power down.
So I find it quite interesting watching that some of the riders go for the inside of the bend, and some of them just sit there on the lane. You see these two guys here now; they are going for the inside of the bend, and I assume that they're steering rather than autopilot. But not everybody seems to make use of the inside of the bends. How much difference is it likely to make in a race like this?
It actually makes a large difference. You really do want to get on that inside bend, or you want to hit the apex for sure. It will save you quite a bit of time.
Okay, so if you're watching and you're sizing it all up for the next race, take note from the expert. That's not me, it's the other guy. So anyway, looking at this, so we've got Jeff Rooney is off the funny. Lucha, I see further up there. Vibeke for Denmark now is in 5th position, just ahead of Christian. Crashes. And I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, and that's that corner. Yeah, and I was going to say there's only a couple places that'll catch you out, but you saw these a couple of riders who needed to try and catch back on, and we had another one there. Yep, right before the finish line, that bend will catch you out.
Wow, that was unexpected by me. Obviously not unexpected for you. I see my friend David Tobin's managed to stay up, and has Peter Kostrap as well, from the Netherlands here in the yellow jersey, quite a striking yellow jersey as well. So Peter Kostrap, is that Peter there? No, it's a Danish. It's a Danish flag on the sleeve, isn't it? So that's Vibeke, I'm guessing. This must be Peter Kostrap, because look, matching jersey. Look at that. How cool is that? Very impressive. And I see he's lined up indoors with the heating on, so he'll probably be sweating quite a lot. As I say, from the Netherlands, not quite sure where. And there's a great belief that the Netherlands is all flat, but there's actually a bit down in the south that sort of almost drops into Germany, which is very hilly, where they run the Amstel Gold Race. So I was quite surprised the first time I found myself in the Netherlands riding up some very steep hills. So don't always think these Netherlanders don't know how to do hills, because they do. Back to Peter on there. David Tobin, again, we've featured. We see that Carl is just ahead. I say Carl had that big win on Tuesday night. He did exceptionally well. And I do like... one day I have to ask Lucia this question, that an Italian wearing the Belgian kit, and I just wondered if there was a fascination with Belgium. I have to say I am a fan of Belgium when it comes to cycling myself. The beer's very good too, by the way, if you ever get to go there. Tim Fulford out in the front, who again, so that's basically Tuesday's two big winners, Fulford and Carl, and out on the front. This group now down to 1, 2, 3, 5 riders, and you can see on the right-hand side, David Tobin the last. There's a 9-second gap from David Tobin back to Peter Kastrop, then 24 seconds to Quentin and Shaq 25. Little group of them there, including Esmo. Oh, somebody's doing a power up. It's Carl, isn't it? David Tobin drops in. Now this is the second one they've got in this. They're in lap 2 of 2. There's only 2.2 kilometres to go. So this is, you need to use them before the finish. They might as well use them now while they're on this last hill, because it's downhill to the finish. 2.1 kilometres to go. Carl has pulled away quite impressively. Lucia on the chase with a 2-second gap back to Jeff Rooney, Tim Fulford and David Tobin, and then an even bigger gap to Peter Kastrop. So it's between these 5, and a power up by Jeff Rooney takes him into second place ahead of Lucia. The 3 of them now, if Lucia can get on to the back of this, he can take the draft down to the finish. 1.8 kilometres to go, and they're cracking up some speed now, and it will get even better. Carl Axel Persson in the lead there, the Swede, just ahead of Jeff Rooney. Jeff the Looney, love that. Oh, and Lucia's losing a bit of ground to the front too. He's going to have to push to get that on. He's only 4 seconds ahead of Tim Fulford and David Tobin. It's between these 5. I think the top 5 places will go to these. 1.4 kilometres to go. Who do you fancy on this one then, Frank?
You know, this is very interesting. What you've got here is Carl out in the lead, 192, equalized heart rate, so 8 beats from the top. You've got Jeff at 195, and you've got Luca at 192. But you've also got Tim out there at 156. So I imagine he's got something to give, and if he doesn't get caught out by one of these bends, he should be there for the sprint.
They're just overtaking a rider on another lap there, which is why the other rider's silhouetted, I believe. And they're down to the last kilometre. It's 0.9 as they go over the bridge. Not far to go now, as we lose sight of them momentarily. The camera moves for us. Great stuff. Is Tim going to make that gap up? He's only 2 seconds behind. Tim is catching up, as you predicted, Frank. He had something to give. This is going to be between 4 and not 3. There's Tim. He's within sight with 600 metres to go. He can do that. I'm sure he can. I think this is between 4 riders. Who's got the... Oh, Carl is just pulling away a little bit there, though. Down to the last 500 metres.
Watch this corner. Watch this corner. Oh, and he catches Lucia out.
Lucia is out of the running. We're down to... I think Tim might just struggle to make that gap now. So I think it's between these 2. Alex clapping away there. He does like the beats. And round this bend, they're going to see the finishing line. Who's going to do it? It's looking like Alex. He's done it. Alex takes the win ahead of Jeff Rooney. Tim Fulford takes third. Poor old Lucia has to settle for 4th after that crash. David Tobin should be in 5th. He's just 2 seconds behind. And that will be our top 5. Now, Frank, the riders, they can choose to finish this race, or do they are they best to move over to the start line of the next one?
If they're close, they're better off to finish, especially when we score the points when we're outside of preview. But I'll sort of do that on the fly today. Oh, and Peter Castro just passed.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Absolutely excellent. Christian just coming in ahead of Iran. And Kay Thompson, Lafayette's first lady, as I called her, and Homer Thompson. I've nicknamed them the Thompson twins, which is probably not fair at all, but they'll have to write to me if they're offended. But so you're saying so if you finish, you score more points than if you move over. But on the other hand, if you don't move over and you finish, you start the next race late. We have the results here. Fantastic stuff. Top 12 here. Kay and Homer from Lafayette in Indiana, 11th and 12th, just behind Esma, the new rider that Frank was telling us all about. Christian Weidman is just behind Shaq, a US 1-2 there. Quentin Molinez, Belgique, is 7th. Peter Kastrop, who we profiled from the Netherlands, just ahead in 6th. My friend David Toby in 5th. Lucha Il Ducha is 4th. Tim Fulford settling for 3rd, and probably pleased that Lucha crashed. Jeff Rooney and Carl Axel fought it out, but Carl took the win in our first race. Absolutely fantastic. What did you think, Frank?
Yes, I thought it was a great race. I think Tim left it a little bit late, and that corner probably caught him out because he had to slow down. But other than that, I would expect Carl, who won on Aurora on Tuesday, to be looking good for the win on Aurora as well. So maybe he's going to go for the hat trick today.
He's certainly well placed to do so, and I agree with you. He was superb on Tuesday on Aurora, wasn't he?
Yes, he was able to maintain control.
Now, for those people watching who haven't seen Aurora, this is basically a go-kart track. And if you look at the profile on the right-hand side, you'll see that it's got... now, the bends aren't quite as tight on this one as they are on the other kart course that Cade have created, in my opinion. Frank will correct me if I'm wrong. So it's not quite as hard as the other one. You've got the two little dips. If you look at the profile underneath the map on the right, there's two little dips and then that rise at the end. So there is some climbing. But the thing about the dips to watch out for is if you go down too fast, come up the other side fast and pedal hard to counter the gradient, then hit a bend, you might be going far too fast for the bend. And I think that's what you've got to look out for. Apart from all the other bends, there will be crashes. But let's see.
Yep, and the start here is very important. Got to get out in front of the bots, but you can't go so fast that you overcook the first corner. Oh, and we have some people going down already.
That's a lot less people than Tuesday, I think, though. I might be wrong, but I think that caught a lot more people out on Tuesday than it has tonight. Fantastic view. Look at that. Absolutely love that view. And you get a feel for what the bend looks like from this aerial view, don't you?
Absolutely.
So it's Viveke Bertrand out the front at the moment, and as Frank has alluded, this is really a case of if you can stay up, you will probably win. Carl is in second place. Now, Carl, of course, is our tip to win, but he's actually 2 seconds. Now, this is the first of these dips I was on about. You come up this, and if you're pedaling too hard to counter the gradient, you can hit that bend and go down. But I think it was that Carl went down there. I think Carl went down, and the distance gap back. Yes, Carl is now in third place as a result of that. 7 seconds behind Veke. So Veke.
Yes, and she really, you can see the concentration on her face here, and she's really studying, and she's really got this locked up now. If she can just maintain control and not overcook one of these corners, it's going to be very hard for people to catch her, make up the time. But Quentin's doing a good job. Quentin is we've seen him before in our earlier CVR World Cups, and he's back today, and he's already got a lot of skill. So Quentin may have a little bit more control than
somebody
most.
Went down there as well, didn't they?
Yeah, it looks like that was Sharon Hackathorn.
Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? So I think, oh look, that's Carl's back. Oh, Quentin goes down. I think Viveke must have gone down or something, because Viveke is now 9 seconds behind Quentin, who's in the lead. Carl in second place, 6 seconds between Carl and Viveke. I think she must have gone down off camera there, Frank.
Yes, it's so easy to do. Like I said, the adrenaline's pumping, you're out front. and you just overcook something a little bit, or you try and accelerate out of a corner too soon, and it costs you.
One of my biggest mistakes when I'm doing this is I brake too late going in the corners. So that's another thing that you kind of need to work out just exactly when to do it.
Yes, you want to brake early and be off the brakes by the time you hit the corner.
Yeah, I get that wrong all the time. Axel's doing quite well though here, isn't he? Look at the speed he's just overtaking Quentin there, and it looks like he's in a little bit more control of exactly how, where to put the speed than Quentin is. Quentin, look, just skidding across on that bend, which suggests that he's not getting quite as right as Axel, and the gap it's a little bit longer than it was as a result of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Quentin's going to be someone to contend with, because on his first try here, his first race in Aurora, he's doing quite well. And Sharon goes down again. She's starting to count those.
Yeah.
Nice corner Absolutely. By Peter there.
Somebody just getting on there. That's who's that? Jeff Rooney, isn't it? I think. So, no, sorry, it's not, is it? That's yeah, I think it is. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting confused. I should know better than this, shouldn't I? I see a finish flag up there. I'm not sure which rider that is, but they seem to be on a different lap. Maybe it's one of the bots. Peter CADEsport again in that yellow jersey. That's who that is. We should recognise that from the first race, shouldn't we? Peter there indoors between the way he's in between the doors. It almost looks as if he's in rollers, and I'm just watching the handlebars swaying there. Do you think he's on rollers as opposed to a smart train?
Absolutely.
Power meter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely on rollers.
Yeah.
And really, he should be able to get into a pretty good rhythm. But I think what's hard is he's got to pedal through the corners, and he can't coast. And it's a little bit easier if you can coast.
Yeah. So basically, he'll have a power meter rather than a smart trainer, I'm guessing. Is that how it works, or has he got rollers that somehow sort of work with Cade? I'm not used to seeing people on rollers. Carl coming out of that dip again and just sliding across a little bit, but you can see the rider alongside is on a different lap and is not to be sort of taken too much notice of, because he can ride through him because he's on that other lap as well. You see Leonard there is ridden through. Carl from Sweden. So here we go, round another bend. He does that one immaculately. He's in first position. He's got 14 seconds on Quentin now. Rebecca 15 seconds. There's a little bit of a tussle for second place in the offing here. And Christian isn't far behind on 21.
Yeah, just as you said that, Quentin went down. So Vibica definitely has the ability to finish in second position here. I don't think anybody's going to catch Carl. He's really showing us how it's done. He'll be 2 for 2, and he'll be looking for the hat trick. But I imagine Quentin and Vibica will be trying to take the hat trick away from him on the final stage. Yeah.
Well, he's only 100 metres from the finish now, so I think we can say that Carl's got that with 18 seconds as he finishes. Sits up, gives himself a round of applause, and we wait to see who's going to get second. I think it's going to be Vibica, as you suggested, although Quentin's only just behind. So let's see how that one plays out. There's not a lot in it, only a few seconds. Rebecca, I think you can't visually see Quentin behind, so I think that's fairly safe, and she does it. Here comes Quentin, ran that last bend and across the line.
Yeah, Quentin went down, crashed trying to catch her, but it was a good choice. He risked it, and he got caught out, but he had to risk it to try and get in front of her.
Absolutely. So you see Peter CADEsport, Jeff Rooney, Shaq, Kate Thompson. The Thompsons do finish together quite well, don't they? Frank, I think Cade needs to introduce tandems for those two. So Rene Valadez, I think Lucha way back this time, way behind there. Vincent Abdul, David Tobin quite a way back as well. This will be down to the crashing, I think. So anyway,
yes,
this is the hardest of the three, I think, this race, isn't it?
I think it's definitely the hardest to sort of maintain. Really, if you just go slow, and I think Carl showed us that even after crashing once, I think Carl was able to just maintain a nice, steady rhythm, and you just start passing people because they're crashing.
I didn't realise he's 22 seconds ahead of Vibeke. That's quite a lot, wasn't it? And Vibeke is 6 seconds ahead of Quentin Molyneux there. So quite big gaps, and I think, as you say, this is caused by the crashing and have to slow for the corners. I mean, just reading down, so reading upwards, David Tobin was 12th, Lucha 11th, Rene Valadez at 10th, just behind Homer and Kay Thompson and Shaq, a US four of them all together, isn't it? Quartet. Jeff the Looney Rooney is 6th, Peter Kastrop from the Netherlands, an impressive 5th, just behind Christian Weidman. Quentin Molyneux, as we noted from Belgium, is 3rd, and Vibeke Bertram settling for 2nd after a very good ride, but not good enough to beat a man who's now clocked up too. Carl Axel Zander Persson is now going for the hat trick on one of my favourite courses. Love the obstacles here. How would you describe them, Frank?
Well, the obstacles definitely will catch you out. They caught me out on Tuesday. I thought I was past an obstacle, and I turned too soon, and it caught my back tire and took me out of the running for the win. So that was a bit disappointing. But you can manage the obstacles pretty well unless you're in a pack. If you're in a pack, it gets a little bit more treacherous, just like if you're out on the road and there's something in the road. If you're all by yourself, it's pretty easy, but if you're in a pack, it gets quite difficult. And then there's quite a few corners that will catch you out here.
Yeah, this is a great course. So 3 laps here. Now we've got 3 of these Lazy Boy power-ups, haven't we? How would you describe those?
Those are great for rest, but you have to be careful when you use them because they can allow other people to attack you, because once you've engaged it for 10 or 20 seconds, depending on how they've configured it, you can't change your power. So that's a good time for other people to attack.
Okay, that's worth remembering. That is worth remembering. Erhan has gone well off the front. You'll be familiar with the course, and that's quite a big gap to open up that early in the race, isn't it? It's I can't see him maintaining it. What do you think?
Well, he did quite well on Tuesday, and I think if he doesn't crash, he will put the pressure on everybody. And I think he's, as long as he can sort of control that adrenaline through these corners, and you see right there, a whole bunch of people go down. And that is easy to do on that little chicane there.
I think we had quite a few went down on that chicane on Tuesday, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an easy one to catch you out. Yep.
So now we've got this little group out front. We've got 5 riders who've pulled away from the others. And on the right side of that is Vibeke, Vanessa Merhan, Shaq. Is that Steve Hackman, did you say? And Carl Axel. Well, you'd expect Carl to be there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely getting the skill down on the corners, and you save so much time in the corners that it makes it difficult for other people to even approach you, even if they use more power.
I think you're right, and this group's down. I mean, if you assume that Axel's in the group, there's only 4 people now in that group. We've got Vanessa, Shaq, and Vibeke yet again. So the same names are coming up. We're developing some superstars in this, aren't we?
Absolutely. And someone else who's really showing some skill is David. So your friend Tobin is still in the mix. Oh, and then he goes down. I jinxed him.
I'll tell him it was you. We lost 2 riders there, so we've got 2 out front now. It's Vanessa and Carl going for this. I think Vanessa, she looked quite canny on this course on Tuesday night, if I may say so. She did quite well on this particular race, and I think she's got the knack of these obstacles. Look, it's a fine line as those 2 go through them, isn't it?
Yeah,
just takes
absolutely.
the
And she's
inside better than Carl there.
yes, she's got a lot of time in on the game, and she's going to be trying to make sure that Carl doesn't get his hat trick. And we've got 3 laps here, so a long way to go. So we'll see how it plays.
We have indeed, haven't we? We are, I suppose, through most of this lap now, but the obstacles are sort of kind of more. Oh no, Vanessa's gone.
Oh, and yeah, you just get overexcited.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's the most interesting thing. You have to ride it to sort of understand it, because there you're thinking, okay, all she's got to do is go easy and coast through the corner, but you get excited. Carl's got a lot of power. He's coming back, and so you want to press it, and as soon as you press it, the corner catches you out. Oh,
yeah. Hell yeah, that's absolutely right. So we're on for Becky now, who's in 3rd place. Very respectful sort of respectable position, should I say. And that focus is still there, isn't it, Frank? I mean, I bet she's not listening to us through the headphones.
No, and if she is, she's not going to give us a thumbs right, and she's not going to give us a thumbs up or anything. She's in a power spot, so she's going to try and close that gap. We can see her standing up and really putting some power into the pedals so that she can try and close that 8-second gap.
So she steers neatly through the...
Yep, sorry about that.
I was going to say she steered neatly through the tunnel there, which comes just before the finish of the lap. So she's on the 2nd lap now in 3rd place. So there's 3 on this lap now, isn't there? As we look at Jeff Rooney again, who is just now entering lap 2, and 5.5 kilometres to go. So there's plenty to go. I see he's got that tri-bar position there, the aero position with on the handlebars. Does that have an advantage in CADE, Frank?
It absolutely does. In fact, all of the components of your bike you can change out. You can change brakes, and you can change definitely the position of your bikes, the type of your bike. That all changes the physics in the game. What also happens on the tri-bike is you get narrower tires, and so you actually have less traction in the corners. So you're faster in the straights, but slower in the corners.
Wow, I didn't know that. That is worth... somebody just crashed behind Jeff. I'm guessing that's Quentin, isn't it? And I didn't realise that about the traction, though. That is... it's Quentin, look. And you can see it's that chicane again, isn't it? Look at it. It's that same chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. And that...
Vanessa's got ahead of Carl again.
He's just trying to... Yeah. So Vanessa's gotten back in front, and I'm sure that Carl, who's at 186 on his heart rate, is trying to maintain the draft at this point and do some recovery.
It's interesting. Vanessa's heart rate is lower than Carl's, isn't it?
Yes, and here one of the things that's interesting, she's very good in the corners. Well, it depends. It depends on the day. Vanessa can either crash in every corner, or she can be really, really good in the corners because she's done them a lot. And one of the things that CADE allows you to do is recover in the corners, because like you're outside, often you'll coast. You won't be pedaling through the entire corner, especially if it's a little bit sharper. And so that really can help you to keep your heart rate down.
Did Carl crash then? Did Carl crash? I'm not... Oh, no, he's there, isn't he? Sorry. It's me not looking properly. I always find this one quite interesting because you've got to come through that one and you go straight into these bends, don't you? And I'm very focused on the obstacles, and suddenly that bend appears just at the end of the obstacles, and I'm not always paying attention when I ride this course.
Yes, and what you'll see here is, I don't know if you noticed, but Vanessa's heart rate was getting higher. It was a few beats higher than Carl's, but as she's going through the corners, her heart rates come way down to 173. And so what that's telling us is that she's maintaining... Oh, and she goes down right there. That cost her big.
Yeah.
But she was maintaining her heart rate, or doing better recovery in the corners than Carl was.
Okay. Oh, that's 50.
Yeah, I think that was the replay, but she's gone down there in both laps.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was the replay, wasn't it? So She's still there though. I mean, she had 4 seconds before that crash, and she's oh, it was 1, and now she's got 2. So she's used this little straight to pull away, but she's got to get the corner right now, hasn't she? Which it looks like she had. Oh no, she's gone, hasn't she? Oh no, that's so sad. So Carl does the stay up longest and you'll win tactic.
Yeah, and this was looking to be a great corner. Just overcooked it. At the end. That's a heartbreak.
It is, and now she's 3 seconds behind from 2 falls ago. She was 4 seconds up, so it's 7 seconds lost out of 2 falls, really. And oh look, Carl's doing the lazy boy just to, I suppose, giving himself a bit of a break, and Vanessa's doing the same. I wonder if they're using up their third one as we go into the third lap. 2.7 kilometres to go. It's all to race for. This was quite exciting on Tuesday because Vanessa was about 3 seconds ahead, I think, and she was of somebody, and it was a real sort of cat and mouse game to see whether she could just hold off the person behind her at the end of this race on Tuesday. It was absolutely thrilling. Boots on the other foot now. She's the one who's 2 seconds behind now. She's catching Carl. This is the interesting thing.
Yeah,
she's catching Carl. Look at.
Yep. She's coming up to the chicane, so it'll be very interesting to see if she overcooks it because of the pressure that she's under. And actually, this is absolutely turnabout because, Carl does a save. Vanessa does a save through the chicane there as well. Both of them pushing it. But on Tuesday, it was Vanessa in front and Carl chasing. So it's absolutely a turnaround today.
This is. I hope this is as exciting as it was on Tuesday night. It was absolutely thrilling. And so remember, you have to negotiate this bridge as well. So just make sure that you get your steering as you go through there, round this sweeping bend. The gap, you can see visibly, the gap is closing. Another one at the chicane again. Just be careful. And Vanessa's almost on his wheel now. This is fantastic. Another one of the little slippery chicanes, followed by a bend. But the gap is still coming down. This is going to be a thriller.
Yes, and they're both on the rivet. We can see they're both at 190, 191 heart rate. So your decision-making struggles a little bit at this point. But what I find interesting about Cade... that hurt.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. 1.4 kilometres to go. I mean, she's made up gaps and she is better around the obstacles. So it ain't over yet. There's still plenty to be played out in this one, if you ask me. 4-second gap now she's got to make up. But remember, Carl's got to negotiate the obstacles, which we think Vanessa knows better. And it's already down to 3 seconds with 1.1 kilometres to go. So as long as... creeping around. Oh, no!
And you can just see she's trying. She's risking it all in those corners, and she was almost back, but she overcooked the corner, and Carl's just like, slow and steady wins the race. Definitely Cade has sort of the turtle in the hair thing going, and often, as the turtle, you win. Yes,
indeed. Actually, it's kind of interesting you call it the turtle. In Britain, we call it the tortoise, but I was going to say it's even harder if you're a turtle on land, isn't it?
Yeah, I think someone over here was telling me I got it wrong, and it is a tortoise over here, too.
Oh, okay. I quite like the turtle story, though. We'll stick with that for now. So,
here she goes.
With 4 seconds, 500 meters, I don't think she can do that. So we kind of just have to wait and see whether there's any mistakes from Carl, really, won't we? Slipped a bit there. 4 seconds with 300 meters to go. I don't think it's going to happen. Carl is through the bridge, and as long as he doesn't hit the wall of the bridge, I think we can assume Carl is going to get this with a 4-second gap. He's obviously putting a bit of pressure in. The Watts piling up now as he goes. He uses the last lazy boy, just feeds himself over the line and does his victory clap. Vanessa having to settle for second this time round. Absolutely.
Masterclass by Carl.
Yeah, he got that absolutely spot on, didn't he? So Jeff Rooney, Jeff the Looney Rooney, is coming in next. I think he's fairly safe. I mean, he's got 12 seconds over Christian. Just get yourself through the bridge here, not too close to the wall, and the finishing line is there. If you've got any lazy boys, use them now. But I think he's fairly safe. We might have a bit of a duel. Look, Vibeke and Christian are neck and neck. So if the camera goes back to the next one, look at this. This is a proper sprint. Vibeke using the lazy boy, but look at Christian powering through. Can he make it on the line or not? Vibeke just holds on. Absolutely cracking stuff. Erhan coming up next. So Erhan's 19 seconds ahead. We might have another battle behind this because Quentin and Shaq are fairly close to each other as well. Quentin now just coming up to the bridge. Shaq is just behind, but I think Quentin is pulling away. Jack sort of putting on the power now, trying to make it up, but that's too late. So I'm afraid that's too little late for... Is that Steve Hackman, I think you said his name was? But Shaq. We've got the Thompsons coming next. So which one of the Thompson household is going to win? Dean making sure that he is the winner out of this little tussle. 4 seconds, and he's using a lazy boy just to rub it in. Kay won my race on Monday night, and she did superbly well. So congratulations anyway. Lucha Lucha pinching a place from her, I think. They're very, very nice. David Tobin, my friend, just coming in next in the West London kit. Thanks very much to Cade for letting us have the West London kit on here. Looks absolutely fantastic. We love it. Oops. Oh, has David crashed into the wall? He has, hasn't he? And he crawls into it out of shame. He's going to lose place. Oh, he gets run over as well. So he's lost a load of places now. I'll have to tease him about that on our next ride out.
Yeah, I think he must have, his turning must have got stuck to the left.
Yeah, I guess so. Here he comes in. So that was absolutely fantastic.
He was very nice to let all those people pass him by.
Yeah, he is a gentleman, I can tell you. So look, and out of that, look, he hasn't even finished on the leaderboard now. So, Esma, our up-and-coming star, is 12th, and Erhan, the 2 Turkish flags there, was 6th. So they set off together in race 1, you remember, off the front. By race 3, a gap of 6 places. So reading upwards, the Thompsons got split as well. Lucia Ducha, I can't remember his second name, begins with C. The Italian and the Belgian kit, breaking up the Thompson family, taking 10th between Dean at 9th and Kay at 11th. Shaq, Steve Hackman at 8th. Quentin Mouliniers from Belgium is 7th. We've mentioned Erhan at 6th. Christian Weidman in 5th for the USA. Vibeke Bertrand, the lady with the concentration, getting a very creditable 4th there. Jeff Rooney in 3rd, as we saw. Vanessa, heartbreak as Carl makes it 3 out of 3. He is the champ, isn't he? He's the Eddie Merckx of this.
Yeah, he was definitely on today. I think Vibeke and Vanessa gave him a run for his money. But again, just he makes it through the corners more often, and that gives him the win.
Absolutely. And I have to say, as a rider, I find doing this cornering really engaging, and it just adds so much to the experience. There's more to think about, it's more engaging, and you come away feeling like you've done more than just sort of, sat on a hamster wheel, basically. So I think this is exciting, and it is the future.
I definitely wanted to ride today more than I wanted to commentate, but I'm traveling, and so I was like, well, we'll get in here. But I definitely wanted to see if I could just make it through an entire set of races without crashing. That's my current goal, and I'll place well if I can just do that.
I would have loved to have been in the race, but I thoroughly enjoyed commentating anyway. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Frank, as well. Just looking at the race results, just to recap, race 1, Carl Axel Z Person taking all 3 races in first place. But the podium mix, Jeff Rooney probably having the second best day, finishing 2nd in race 1 and 3rd in race 3. Tim Fulford took third in race 1. On the podium on race 2, the one with the all the corners on that karting track, Vibeke Bertram from Denmark, Quentin Mouliniers from Belgium. Race 3, Vanessa Merhan, heartbreakingly second this time around, but of course she won on Tuesday in race 3 on that obstacle course. Jeff Rooney taking third, as we've seen. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us, Frank. I hope you're travelling somewhere nice.
Well, it's -7 degrees real field temperature where I am today. So it's a bit cold, but it's very nice seeing family, so enjoying that.
Absolutely. Sounds, apart from the temperature, that sounds fantastic.
I'm actually enjoying the temperature. I come from where it's quite hot, so it's kind of nice to be in the cold, but just for a few days and then back to the warmth.
Ah, well, I can understand that. I can understand that. Here in Britain, actually, it's warmed up a little bit, so I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some real riding over Christmas. But I'm pretty sure that most of my evenings I'm going to be on CADE practicing corners.
Yes, I'm looking forward to getting back and practicing my corners and seeing if I can win on Aurora.
I'll go head to head with you one day.
I'm in. I'm in.
And you'll win as well, I can tell you. Anyway, I think that's about it. Unless you've got anything to add, Frank. I think we've had a fantastic evening. Well, it's an evening here in Britain. It's probably not where you are, but we've had a fantastic race. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be here. Certainly, if I don't speak to any of you riders, we'll see you on CADE anytime soon. Have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. But hopefully, I'll see you on some of these CADE rides between now and the new year.
And well good morning from me and everybody. Have a great Christmas and New Year's as well. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.